So I've done a couple of videos looking at what you could call the more production-oriented side of being a content creator. The stuff around supporting your camera and not just tips and tricks on the camera itself. In the past, in this series, we've talked about things like sliders and C-stands and boom arms and grip heads and stuff like that. And this time I wanted to take a minute and share something that I recently learned, and for me at least, improved upon with respect to concealing a lav microphone, but in a way that's both repeatable and reusable. Now, my process is derived from a technique known as a Moleskin sandwich. And of course, I am not talking about the Moleskin notebooks here, but that super soft adhesive back felt fabric stuff that's used by athletes and hikers for dealing with blisters and rubbing when they're out athleting and hiking. Now, of course, the first question you really might ask in this whole thing is, why am I talking about this? I'm a YouTube content creator, and many of you are probably content creators as well. And in a lot of cases in our situation, we can easily have a visible microphone all the time. So why bother hiding it? Well, put simply, for me at least, this comes down to a personal thing. I don't like visible microphones. Most of the time I get around having a visible microphone on me by using a microphone boomed overhead. And as an aside, if you are a content creator, this can be a great setup for you as a solo creator. However, in more dynamic situations, without someone to move that boom around for you, a boomed mic is not going to work. You're going to move outside of its sweet spot and it's going to sound crappy again. Now, the solution to dealing with that is a lavalier or lav microphone. And since it's clipped to you, it moves with you, it lets you move around without impacting sound quality, and in some cases can deliver better sound quality because the cardinal rule in audio recording is to put the mic as close to the thing as you're trying to record as possible and as far away from everything that could contribute noise as possible. So a mic that's on you, that moves with you, really goes well with that. Now, as I said, even though a lav mic being visible is entirely acceptable in the kinds of content I shoot, demonstrations, talking heads, etc., and even in cases where perhaps you're using your YouTube channel to springboard into being able to do other kinds of content that you're getting paid for, things like interviews or corporate videos, lav mic being clipped to somebody's lapel or shirt is entirely, almost always, going to be acceptable there too. On top of that, of course, hiding a mic is clearly more effort than just clipping it to your shirt and getting on with things. But with all that said, and as much as I like my boom mic for the fact that I don't have to do any setup, I would still rather hide my lav mic than have it clipped to my shirt. So in that vein, I started looking into how lav mics are hidden in dramatic productions, your television shows, your movies. Almost always there's a lav mic in addition to boom mics just because of the stakes. And the people who do that audio work have tons of approaches to hiding microphones. And that's where I learned the Moleskin sandwich technique. So let me jump over to the bench and show you how to make a Moleskin sandwich. So we're going to start by making the Moleskin sandwich first, okay? So again, piece of Moleskin, I have my lav mic here stripped down to just the microphone, nothing else. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off a piece of Moleskin. So this is about a 2-inch roll. And I'm gonna cut something off that's just about the width of my thumb, maybe a bit narrower. So that will be our first piece of Moleskin for this. And this piece we're then going to cut down again. So we're going to make this a little bit, I would say 2/3, 1/3, or 3/5, 2/5, or something like that. We want a slightly bigger piece and a slightly smaller piece. Doesn't have to be super accurate, just, you know, has to be what it needs to be. Now we're going to take our mic, we're going to place it on our first piece of Moleskin, the larger piece, about like that. Peel the adhesive off the back of our other piece. And we're going to stick this so that, this is a little tricky, that it just covers the mic. Like that. So there is a little tiny overhang over the front of the mic. And that's it. That's the Moleskin sandwich. Now, the point of the Moleskin sandwich is both to be thin and light and small and isolate the microphone so that clothes don't rub on the end, the active end, therefore creating more noise. And in my experience, it does a pretty good job of that, given that cloth rubbing on the Moleskin doesn't make a lot of cloth noise and the mic is generally protected from it. Couple that too with where I place it in my shirt, there's really not a lot of room for cloth to move. Now, at this point, you can just start there. That's your Moleskin sandwich. You could stick it under the placket. That's the area where the buttons are on a button-down shirt or polo shirt, or straight to your talent's skin. Remember, Moleskin is skin safe. So if they're wearing a t-shirt or something like that, you can stick your Moleskin sandwich right to their chest and you have your microphone adhered to them, no problem. My only problem with this setup is that it's not easily reusable, or reusable really at all. Since you're relying on the adhesive to stick the mic to your shirt, after you've pulled it off, maybe as little as even once, that adhesive is gonna pick up some fuzz from the shirt and it's not gonna stick anymore. So in my situation, in the way I do things, I wanted a more reusable way to do this because even though Moleskin is not really expensive, throwing away an inch or so every time I go to shoot a video is really throwing away money I'd rather not throw away. And so this is where I came up with my Magskin sandwich, which is basically a Moleskin sandwich with a magnet stuck to the back of it. So let me show you real quick how I do this. There's a little extra going on there, but let's jump over to the workbench and take a look at that. So we've got our Moleskin sandwich, and that's the starting point for what I'm calling the Magskin sandwich. And now we are going to just convert this into a Magskin sandwich. To do that, we're going to use some rare earth, neodymium, whatever you want to call them, magnets. And the way we do this is we peel the adhesive off the back of our Moleskin sandwich, and we take a 15mm by 2mm rare earth magnet, and we stick that right there, like that. Then we take a piece of gaffer tape, about the same width as our Moleskin sandwich is. Cut it, tear it, however you want to do your gaffer, separate your gaffer tape. And we're going to tape this down. This one was a little bit smaller than I really should have had. And we're going to just trim off. I don't think I need to trim off anything there. Wrap it over on both sides so that it seals up and packages the whole thing. Now we take a second rare earth magnet, and that's what attaches it to your shirt. So this would go in between the buttons on a button-down shirt or a polo shirt. This goes on the front, that magnet goes on the back inside of the shirt and holds the package in place. So with this method, the Magskin sandwich, I can reuse my setup over and over dozens, if not hundreds of times before it starts to break down. Yes, eventually the two layers of Moleskin will want to separate and you'll have to rebuild it. And honestly, as a side effect of all of this, I actually find that in a lot of cases, it's easier for me to put it on with the magnets than it was when I was just using the Moleskin adhesive, because the magnets self-align and, want to stick together. Now, of course, I don't mean to imply in any way, shape, or form that this is the only way that you can hide a lavalier mic, or that this is the best way to hide a lavalier mic, or that you should use this technique in lieu of any other technique. I'm bringing this to you because I found this to be immensely useful in my toolbox, in my situation and circumstance, The Moleskin technique or sandwich technique can be useful in hosts tons of circumstances. It's used in Hollywood production and more in large scale productions all over the place. It's worth knowing. And even if you don't use it, it's kind of worth keeping it in your toolbox. That said, I hope you found this useful or at least interesting. If you did, let me know by hitting that like button. Also, if this kind of thing seems like it might be your kind of thing, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Finally, if you'd like to help and support this channel, you can help us for free by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and leaving a comment with your experiences. Likewise, you can support us by hitting that thanks button or buying yourself something you've always wanted from one of the affiliate links in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.